Hello, my name is Skip, and this is From the Fourth Row's review of The Counselor. Now, The Counselor is based on a script by Cormac McCarthy, the author of No Country for Old Men, and is directed by Ridley Scott. Now, we know Ridley Scott's directed movies like Alien, Blade Runner, and Gladiator, and a few years ago, Prometheus. Now, this is the title character of the counselor is played by Michael Fassbender, and he's a slick kind of lawyer, but he's looking for some kind of other angles and some other action, and he decides, from what I gather in the movie, that he wants to get into the drug trade, and so he ends up talking to a nightclub owner played by Javier Bardem, and he kind of talks to him about whether he thinks it's the right thing to do to get into the drug trade, and the perils and the bad things that could happen if you get into this, and the trouble you can get into if you get into selling drugs and so forth like that. So he puts him in charge with his man, who is basically the money and the main guy behind all the dealings. Even though he says, I understand the perils behind getting involved in this kind of illegal activity, and that's Brad Pitt. Now, Brad Pitt's character, he once again talks to the counselor, and that's what he's called in the movie, the counselor. They never give him an actual name, as far as I can remember, about the perils and about, okay, this is not easy to get involved with now. If you get involved with drug trafficking and drug selling and so forth like this, you could get in trouble. So they kind of reiterate this same kind of story over and over again, and also the people that you're getting involved with are not the nicest people in the world, and these people will use things like these like metal electronic collars to put on your neck, and they'll just cut your neck off in the middle of nowhere if you cross these people, if you do something wrong, you don't cough up your money when you're supposed to. So it's a dangerous world, we get that. And of course, both Javier Bardem's character and Michael Fassbender's character, the counselor, have love interests, and the counselor's love interest is played by Penelope Cruz, and she doesn't really know what he's getting involved in. And of course, Javier Bardem's woman, she knows full well what's going on, and she has a very adept lifestyle, and she understands the seedy world of what the counselor is involved with. And there's some great scenes involving her and Javier Bardem's character. The dialogue, and I'm not getting off to what I'm talking about, the dialogue in this movie is phenomenal. I mean, if you really want to see a movie that has some fantastic dialogue, kind of like a Coen Brothers movie, but this is like giving Cormac McCarthy just carte blanche to write whatever, and he just goes off on this dialogue. It's some phenomenal dialogue in this movie. The cinematography, the directing, I mean, everything about this movie is fantastic. Now, you have the story itself. Of course, we know something's going to happen to the counselor, and he's going to get into trouble. I'm not going to go into talking about that. But what I am going to say is, I think it's still kind of a little bit hard to understand, even though they kind of tiptoe around what he's involved with, and then you see some scenes in the movie of some bad things happening. So you kind of have an idea of what goes on. But it's very difficult to understand the whole idea of this story. And but you still have to admire what Ridley Scott, Cormac McCarthy are doing here with these great actors and this great dialogue. And so for that, I'm going to give The Counselor a mild see it. I think that people should see it just to go through this experience. But I don't know. I really think the word to say is polarizing. This movie is very polarizing. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. This is Skip, and this has been my review of The Counselor.